And the developer like started throwing bricks off the apartment building to go through her roof.
Holy shit.
Came down. Oh, I'm so sorry that this happened. I apologize. We'll fix it. But if it's easy, we could just buy the house from you and so you don't have to worry about all these repairs. I'm like, take that mother effer to court and get him to fix everything, you know. So Brooklyn real estate, you know, people have knocked on the doors, you know, telling my sellers. I take listings out there all day.
First podcast in the new office. Yeah, so I've been in business for 9 years. It went from my apartment to a roach-infested basement with cockroaches that were this big in my first office. Then I went to this other shitty office. Then we built out this big office that over in West Babylon in a meat place, and it just stunk like spices, and all my clothes stunk like spices. Like my skin smelled like garlic and paprika all the time. So finally, I'm like, you know what, man? I'm 45 years old. I've been in business for 20 years. This is going on 9 years. So we need like a nice office. It's time.
It's time. Like your car. Like you
Yes.
You just like, it's time.
Yes. Oh, you know about the car?
Oh, I saw it on social media.
Oh, IG, like the quick clip of it? What is this?
Well, you got like a sports car, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you got something different.
No, I still have that one. But same thing. Like, yes, I basically lived like a broke college kid for my entire life. And I'm like, all right, at 45 years old, maybe I can live a little
bit, you know.
Live.
We can't take none of this stuff with us, you know, so you gotta.
Yeah, so this is our first podcast in the new studio. We're gonna dial it up a little bit, but a lot of stuff coming. I hear, like we were just talking offline before, you got some big shit that you're dropping. We got some big shit that we're dropping. So let's start talking about it. So for everybody who doesn't know Walter Greene, this is Walter Greene, Mr. Get It Done, already done.
All day, every day.
Right? Social media sensation. How long have you been in real estate for? 15 years? 14 years? 13 years?
This is my 13th year.
We're getting old, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous that, you know, I had no facial hair, had to grow facial hair by people not wanting to work with me. Like, I was like, how you doing? And they was like, how old are you? I was like, my name's Walter. How old are you? I was like, I got to grow a beard, you know? And I kept telling everybody until I had 3 years in the business. I was in the business for 3 years. Yeah. Then when I hit 3 years, then I push it up to 5 years. But now I can just say I've been in business 13 years. It's literally been 13 years.
Yeah, it fucking time flies. We're getting there.
It really freaking does, man.
But the cool thing for somebody like yourself, right? So 13 years is a long time to be in business at all. So I always tell people, if you're a realtor, you're in your own business. So it takes 3 to 5 years to build a business. And I think the stats on realtors are like, it's like 90% of realtors don't make it past year 3. And then like 90% of the remaining 10% don't make it past year 5.
Really?
It's like the odds of being you are very, very, very slim.
You know, the first 2 years are very difficult. And I was still doing other jobs. I was still doing the personal training, still cutting hair and all the other things. But yeah, I was, you know, before real estate, I was personal training, cutting hair. I was a receptionist. I was delivering food. And then, you know, then I got into real estate because somebody was like, yo, you're doing all these little hustles, like put it all together, do a real hustle and like make some real money.
Who was the person that put you on real estate?
The person who put me onto real estate was an ex.
Okay.
And, you know, had a very, how can I say this? Had a mansion. Okay. And, you know.
She did or you did?
She did.
Okay.
She had a mansion, hanging out, you know, had the butler stairs on one side.
Was this like family money or was this her money?
Oh, this is like, I'll tell you right now. So, you know, we're hanging out. I would go there. You know, this is when I would just like bring a bottle of Hennessy and, you know, we'd hang out and, you know, all the fun stuff.
How old are you? 20s?
I was 24.
Okay.
And she was in her mid 40s.
Yeah.
And it was so dope. So we're hanging out one day. We're lying on this California King, you know, drinking, you know. And she's like, yo, you cut hair, you're doing personal training, you're delivering food. Why don't you put all this hustle together and make some real money? And she's like, you should do real estate. And I was just like, real estate. And something clicked in me. I went home the next morning, looked it up, signed up right away, did the 75 hours, and boom, I was off and running. So
you had a straight Mrs. Robinson scenario of a 45-year-old woman living in this mansion. You're like this hot 24-year-old young piece coming over with a bottle of Hennessy. And on a giant California King, she says to you, you should get into real estate, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I literally owe her like a big commission check.
Whatever happened to her?
She's cool, time and yeah,
It was a moment in time.
yeah, but much appreciated. Like I just feel like God just kind of like puts you in certain places, and it's up to you whether you could recognize the opportunity in front of you. And I recognize that opportunity, and I ran with it. I love real estate, man. I can never sit down. I can do this because I'm chatting. But if I have to sit at a desk and I have to just like literally write stuff, like I'm going to get antsy. I'm going to get up and start doing squats and push-ups and sit back down, and I'll lose all attention. But real estate is perfect. I get to move around. I get to talk to different people every day, make some good money,
See, it's interesting because everybody I know, there's two professions that people came from that crush it in real estate and pretty much anything, ironically. Bartending and barber. So many people I know that were barbers that are in real estate or in mortgages or whatever it is, and they just crush it. Same things with people that were bartenders.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that. I just came from the barbershop, and my barber, shout out to Marv the Barb, he's the best. He got his own shop in East Rockaway. He was talking to this guy, he's like apprentice, and he's like, you have to talk to your customers more. He goes, because people will come back to you more for the connection as opposed to the haircut.
Of course.
And I'm like, it's true. I mean, he's really dope at cutting hair, but I mean, his conversations are unmatched. I'm crying in there, I'm laughing. You go there just to hang out sometimes. So yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense. And bartender, I know a lot of successful realtors who used to be bartenders. So.
Yeah. I mean, listen, your fade from your beard into your hair is pretty dope. That shit looks like it was airbrushed on.
Did it fall off yet? No, it's still there. It's still there.
That's not what I meant. I meant the.
No, I'm joking with you. Yeah. But he's
but it makes sense. The number one thing in business and life is likability. I always tell people that all the time. Like, yo, if people really like you, you can suck. Not that you should, but if people really like you, you can suck and still do a ton of business because people just want to do business with you because they like you.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If people have to like you before they do business with you, unless it's like a cashier transaction, but real estate, maybe even cars too. They have to like you to trust you.
Yeah.
And if they trust you, they'll do business with you. But you can't really skip that step unless you're just like a direct listing agent and they don't like you, but they have to go through you anyway. But for me, like I haven't personally paid for advertising since 2019. Like I don't do Zillow at all. I don't do, I used to do mailers. I don't do that. Like everything is literally off referral and social media.
But how long did it take to get to that point?
7 years.
Yeah.
7 years. And I don't know what it is, but it seems like 7 years as a realtor is the magic number where the business just starts to come to you. And like, I mean, literally now, like on the way here, like my phone's ringing. I got to do CMAs after this. And my phone just rings nonstop now. But I think you hit that 7 year mark. It's just that sweet spot as a realtor.
What do you attribute any of your business, if at all, to your online persona? So I feel like you've dialed it back in recent years. But when you and I first connected and we had our original podcast, you were like, dude, I still run around today. Like my staff who has never met you, like I'll be like, get it done already done. And they will say, Walter Greene. Like, because I walked around literally. Like every day, be like, get it done, already done. Walter Greene, like, what the hell are you talking about? Now it's just ingrained in the minds of anybody that knows me.
Awesome,
even random people.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely contribute a lot of it to real estate. I'm sorry, a lot of it to social media. Just like the likability, relatability factor. And also, people always tell me because I don't just put out all the great things. Like I'll put out, if I have a shitty day, like I'll put it out there. If a realtor sucks, I won't say their name, but I'll tell them the story about how this realtor sucks. And I think a lot of people like that. And I mean, literally, my DMs are full all the time with people who want to buy, sell, or rent. So, I mean, social media puts in at least 100,000 every year just off of social media.
Damn.
Just off of social media.
And this is straight organic. This is you grabbing the phone. Like, this isn't having a production team. This is you putting the phone in your hand and being like, get it done, already done. I'm in Freeport. We're listening to this house $499. This shit's popping. Like you used to have very cool, catchy videos.
Yeah. And as we were talking about a little bit offline, it's like, I kind of lost my mojo a little bit. again, we were talking about like you have addition by subtraction in your life, and now I just feel like the energy I'm around, the people I'm around, just everything is just so fluid, and my creativity's coming back, and yeah, everything's real good, man.
Bro, negativity is like a cancer, man. It's like a cancer. Like I've had periods in my life when I guess kind of maybe like 27 or 28, I had this kind of friend cleansing where when you're younger, when you're a kid, you know a ton of people. Like you're in high school, you graduate, you have a lot of like friends. But then you get to a certain point when you realize like you don't need all these people. And then the people that aren't good for you, that are super negative, it's just better that they're not there. And I started just kind of shedding people, and it was just much better.
Yeah, and the hard reality that I had to learn is that everybody I can't have the same expectation of everybody as I have as myself. And it was very hard for me to understand that and say like, this person is your party friend. You can't rely on them for business. You can't rely on them for anything else but parties. This person is your talk to friend.
Yeah.
And once I started categorizing things like that and then prioritizing people who prioritize me, everything seems like it's so much better. People get pissed off, but that's fine. Shit happens. We grew apart, no big deal.
Yeah, listen, some people aren't meant to be in your life forever. They're meant to be in your life for a certain period of time, for whatever that is, like that lady that turned you onto real estate, right? Some people are, I believe, put in your path for a reason at a certain period of time. And sometimes that's a moment, sometimes it's a night, sometimes it's 10 years, whatever it is, but there's a reason why people come into each other's lives.
I believe in God and I believe in faith. And a lot of the times, a lot of clients I get have that same kind of mindset with me. So I just feel like, that's the energy I'm putting out. It's the energy I want to get back. I wholeheartedly believe in karma, and that because I'm like a good business guy, and there's a lot of times where like I could obviously make a lot more money if I'm a sleazeball, and charge people all this extra stuff. I can't do it because like I really can't sleep at night. Like my conscience will really mess with me. And I really feel like because I do that is why randomly, like as a realtor, I can have a dry month and then my phone will ring 3 times. It's like, okay, listing appointment, and a new buyer, 30% down. I'm like, all right, I'm back rocking and rolling, And I just feel like that kind of karma always comes back to me because of that.
So another thing that people don't know about that we haven't talked about, which you and I have talked about in the past, is you transition to the investing side.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. What have you done? Flips, rentals, why'd you do it? What's your experience with it? Do you think other agents should go down that path?
Yeah. Well, I'll say if you're a realtor and you're not investing, you're moving backwards. That's like number one. Number two, you have helped me make a lot of money because you have excellent advice.
Thanks, man.
And I do take your advice. And the last piece of advice you told me not to do, I didn't do it.
Nice. All right, there we go.
So I really cherish your business acumen because I've seen where you came from to where you are now. It's like amazing. You know what I mean? But I do buy rentals. I had a few more tenants, but I kind of liquidated a little bit. But I still have 2 properties left.
Nice.
Got 5 tenants in those 2 properties. I pulled a page out of your book. I don't live where I own anymore.
Nice.
Just said to rent it and make some more money.
There you go.
So I pulled another thing out of your book.
So let's talk about that for a second, right? Because a lot of people, most people, almost all people, including my family, is like, you're nuts. What are you doing? You own all these houses. You rent. So what do you think about that concept now? As a total independent third-party person who's been on both sides, now that you're renting, how do you feel about that?
I like it. And the reason why I do like it is because like my lifestyle is too on the go for a lot of the minute items, like the lawn care, the fix this, the fix that. I like just to pick up the phone and just call somebody and say, hey, just fix this. It's broken. And that's it. And as long as my houses are sitting there making money, I mean, they pay for my rent anyway. So I technically still live for free. They pay for my rent, they pay for my car. So that's all I can really ask for. But I think that if you're able to, number one, if you can't afford a mortgage, a $5,500 mortgage, where a lot of people have right now, don't buy. Rent or a house hack. But if you have the ability to buy and you don't have that kind of strenuous lifestyle, then yeah, buy a house. I'm all for it, but I'm a big proponent of you should always house hack regardless. I don't care. Throw your brother in the room or something. Charge him $700 a month or something, but just house hack everything.
So, I mean, realtors, no one's taking care of your retirement. You're a realtor, you're in your own business. There's no 401k, there's no retirement plan, there's nothing. So you have to do something. I'm not saying that you have to go and just become an investor, but you should try. Every realtor should try to buy 5 houses in their lifetime. Because you don't need to have 100 houses to retire. You need 5. You need 5 houses that you pay off over a period of time. If you can get 10, even better. But 5, if you can, like, if you have a house and the house is bringing in, let's call it, because yours are in yours are in Nassau County, right?
Yeah. Like the rent rolls usually between like 6,000 and 7,500.
Okay, so let's say 6,000. So here's 6,000 times 12, $72,000. You have your taxes, maintenance, whatever it is. Let's say you're making 50,000 by the time you're done, if you didn't have like a mortgage. So let's say they're all paid off. So if you're making $50,000 or even $40,000 and you have 5 of them, you have 200 grand, 250 grand, free cash flow, right? You start doing that at 30 years old, you pay them off by the time you're 65, you're straight.
Yeah.
You have today's equivalent of even call it $150,000. And most people can survive on $150,000 in their retirement and be very comfortable and happy and do whatever.
100%. I mean, again, you're moving backwards if you're a realtor not investing into real estate. And you don't have to buy in New York. You can buy, my one of the loan officers I work with, he buys properties in like I don't even know, somewhere down south, cash for like 110,000. Rents it out, does that with a whole bunch of houses. Like you really gotta invest your money. And then on top of that, like I speak to some realtors and they're not even like doing their taxes properly. Like they don't have like LLCs or corporations, something else you put me on to, or with a proper accountant.
Nice. Oh yeah, Mr. Oaks.
Yeah, I mean, something else you put me on to, having my whole, getting paid, paying myself. And, it's just so crazy when I talk to realtors and they don't do any of this stuff. Like you could save $7,000 a year off your taxes just by investing it into your SEP. And like, you're going to pay that money to Uncle Sam anyway. Why not just throw it in your SEP? It's just like I talk to realtors, they don't get it. I'm like, how you not get this, bro? Because my plan is like, my kids are so lucky. Like they don't even know. Like by the time they're like, whenever they graduate, they don't even know that they're going to be like millionaires. They have no idea. But, all these proper setups now, and again, with a lot of advice from you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
it. I feel like I owe you a commission check too.
This is cool, man. No, I didn't realize. I mean, listen, you and I had a lot of talks over the years. You called me. We're always there for each other. But we haven't really got to sit down in a couple of years. So it's very nice. And I'm very flattered that I've been able to have some kind of impact.
Yeah. I'm my brain is constantly trying to learn. Like if I'm not learning something, I go crazy. And when people say things that make sense, like you often do, I'm really going to take what you say and run with it.
Yeah, let's go down the path for real estate agents, because I think a lot of real estate agents get into real estate for a couple of reasons. A, flexibility, the money, whatever. But I think a lot of them have hopes of owning property at some point. And I think everybody should. So, but take us down the path of how you transitioned from you're a realtor who's just transacting to how did you get educated or feel comfortable and get the opportunity to buy a property? And what was it like to take the first leap?
Okay, yeah. At that time, I was At that time, I was living with the young lady at that time, and we were paying rent. It was like I think it was like $1,650 or $1,700 for like a 2-bedroom, which is now like not even a studio.
Yeah.
But this is back in 2015, and I'm just like, we should buy a house. And she's like, I'm not ready to buy a house. And I'm like, no, we should buy a house. She's like, oh, I'm not ready. And I'm like, well, I'm going to buy a house. And she's like, no, you have to wait for me. And I just went and bought a house. And she was so pissed off. And I was just like, oh, wow. But I ended up starting off with a high ranch.
Okay.
I lived in the bottom floor. And then I rented out the top floor.
Okay.
And at that time, my mortgage was like $2,700. And I said, all right, I'm going to rent out the top floor for $2,700 and live for free.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And then just off of that, it just clicked on my head that like, this is how you really build wealth, because all my commission checks were like literally just going into my pocket. And that's what caused me to have extra cash flow to invest and buy another house and buy the other house and, a lot of other kind of stuff. So to me, everything's about leverage. I don't like to pay. I think it's very ghetto that I have to pay my car note or have to pay a mortgage. So I feel like somebody else should always have to pay it. Otherwise, I feel like I'm hurting myself for some reason.
No, it's smart. So you didn't have any particular training. You house hacked the first one. You're like, I'm tired of paying rent. I'm going to buy this house. And you bought a high ranch, which is the perfect setup because you can basically chop those things up.
Yeah.
And you live downstairs and you rented upstairs for $2,700 and you live for free. And that's like when the light went off. It's like, bam, this is because most people, I mean, because you're a real estate agent, people are writing up to like on mortgages, like 40-something% debt to income just on the mortgage. So like people's biggest expense is where they live. And if you can eliminate that expense by having somebody else pay for it, which you so eloquently put, think about all that money that you're saving that's going into your pocket that you can do other things with.
Yeah, I mean, I got to do the math on that. So 2,700 times 12 is 34,000
post-tax dollars. So like if you had to pay that, so it's what is it, 34,000?
34,400. 32,400.
Which is the equivalent, let's say, of like $45,000 to $50,000 of pre-tax, like post-tax money.
Yeah.
So like that's massive. That's a shit ton of money. That's a freaking salary.
Yeah, it's a huge raise. I mean, I'm telling a lot of clients that I haven't told anybody to rent their basement. I have never said that. But I tell clients, since you're gonna put your family member in your basement for $1,500 a month, you kind of just gave yourself a raise for $18,000 a year. Yeah. If you think about it. And I just think it's the way you have to go about it. You know, you don't have to get your dream house right off the bat. You get something simple, you house hack it, you stay there for a few years, then you have that pay for where you really want to live. That's how I look at it, especially in today's market where everything is so much more inflated. You know, you're not going to get a $2,700 mortgage anymore unless you're putting down bazooka money.
What mix of business are you doing right now? You working with buyers, you working with sellers, you doing rentals? So I work with mostly sellers now. Okay.
I think I'm probably about like 65-70% sellers.
Okay.
If I sold you a 2-family house, I'll do the rental for you.
Okay.
I have agents that work with me now.
I have, you got a team?
Yeah, like rock stars, bro. Like they're so hungry. My guy JJ, my guy Dante, my girl Shayla. I mean, they're just like hungry out here. Like, hey, I got this person. They're like, okay, don't even worry about it. Like, I can just trust them with everything. It's such an awesome feeling. But it's mostly sellers. And again, if I sell you a 2-family house, I'll do the rental. There's some clients who are like so cool to me, so near and dear. Like I'll just do their rental, or they only want me to do it. So I'll still do some rentals. I have people who only want to work with me; they don't want to work with my team members. But that's cool too. But it's mostly sellers nowadays.
On the rental side, because I think kind of connecting the dots about going into rentals as a real estate agent, I think a lot of people don't go into rentals because they're afraid that they're going to get a tenant that doesn't pay. So for you as like on the landlord side and renting, what is your process? What is your screening process? What do you say to like new landlords to like make them feel comfortable and feel like you're putting the best possible tenant in there?
Oh yeah. So number one, I'm very realistic with landlords. So if you have like a $2,500 apartment and you say I want $3,200 for it, I'm not going to take your listing. I'm not going to waste my time. Because whoever's going to be willing to pay that is going to be somebody who's very desperate, who's probably going to pay you for a month or two and then bounce. So as long as the landlord is realistic, let's say it's a 2-bedroom, $2,500, I'll give my suggestion on the criteria. I think it should maybe be 4 people max. You want pets, no pets. Whatever the landlord's criteria is, when I speak to people over the phone, I screen them with that. Doesn't make sense, they don't come. When people come in person, I ask them the same questions because magically the information changes in person.
Yep.
Or people hit me with I'll hit you with this if you can get me the apartment. I'm like, bro, that doesn't work like that. So screen them over the phone, screen them in person. Then they have to send me the documents. I write down everything they say. So now your documents don't match what you told me, I block it right away. If everything matches off those first 3, then you get to meet my landlord, and then my landlord screens you with me there. So it's like a 4-step verification process.
That's smart. That's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Do you have So I have a bunch of rentals, obviously, and it's been tough lately with the tenants. Not that there is no shortage of tenants, but what we've been experiencing lately is a lot of flaky people. Like people are just blatant disrespect. Like I'll meet you at a certain time, they just don't show up. Or I'll meet you at a certain time and they call like 5 minutes before, I'm running an hour late. Or also just a level of entitlement with people that are just looking for stuff that is just crazy. Like these people come in, we do a lot of vouchers. We do everything. We do a lot of voucher tenants, but lately people have been coming in and they're like, it's not big enough. They're like, you have a 3-bedroom voucher. You get in like a 1,300 square foot house. It's not big enough. You want a basement. You want 1,800 square feet. You want at least 2 bathrooms. Like the level of entitlement lately across the board with tenants and flakiness, I've just never seen anything like it. I don't know if you're experiencing that on your end, but that is what we're seeing like across the board.
Definitely experiencing it. A lot of people, a lot of my team members have hit me up and said, like, hey, like this person didn't show up. And like I always reach out to people. I pre-send my text messages like in the morning to go out, and then like half an hour to 45 minutes before the appointment, I pre-send another message to go out. And people will confirm, and they'll still not show up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense to me. And look, if you have a voucher, I get it, but it's really tough to find an apartment that will take a voucher, even though we're supposed to all be open to it. Just so it's common sense. Some landlords are just not going to take it, and. And I know your rentals, they're nice, they're clean.
Brand new, yeah. Everything's brand new.
So, yep. I mean, that's just crazy to me. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, I was just, because things seem to trend. So I always like to ask you, like, not a lot of people are doing rentals. So at volume, so it's cool to be able to talk to you about it and say, what are you seeing? What are you experiencing, boots on the ground? You're seeing like the same flaky people, the same entitlement, all that. But maybe it's just, I don't know, shit's expensive.
It is, everything is expensive.
Shit's expensive, and people, it's tough for people.
Yeah, also with my rentals for like my properties, or like my family members' properties, like I don't tell them that I'm the owner or I'm directly related to the owner.
Yeah.
Like I just act like I'm the realtor to watch how people interact with me. But when people rent my own property, I don't charge them a brokerage fee. At the end, I'll say, hey, look, I'm the landlord. Do you want to move forward? Yeah, all right. You don't have to pay a brokerage fee. And that usually sets people off with a really good,
smart.
With a really good feeling.
That's smart.
But I've literally had people like try to give me cash, or like because they don't think I'm the landlord. Last week, a girl shows up, like opens the door, the smoke flies out her car, walks up high as a kite, and I'm just like, "What are you doing right now? Like you don't know if I'm the landlord or not." She's like, "You're the realtor, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This isn't gonna work off the bat. You can't rent my tent, my person's spot. You're gonna smoke it out, Or people come all disheveled, or people like argue with each other in front of me. Like, bro, this seems kind of violent. Like, I don't think y'all gonna be a good fit here. It's just the most wackiest stuff, man.
How do you screen the calls, right? Because when you put a rental up, you got to get like 3,000 phone calls.
Oh yeah.
So how do you? That's been also like another issue, something we're trying to walk through. Like, how do you deal with that initial screening process? When you're getting all of these calls. Are you having them do some kind of background check? Do you have them fill out an application first? Because if you're getting 20, 30, 40, 50 calls on a rental in a week's time, how are you handling that?
I have mastered to get this conversation done in 45 to 60 seconds.
Within 45 to 60 seconds if someone's a go or not?
Yeah, right off the bat.
What are you asking these people?
Hey, how you doing? I'm calling in regards to blah, blah, blah property. All right, how you doing? How many people in total? Any pets? Voucher, no voucher? Is your voucher about of the rental amount or below the rental amount? Below the rental amount can't work. You can't pay the difference. Click. That phone call's over right there.
Damn.
If it works, all right. What's your income? What's your credit? Are you sure? Are you working? How many cars? Any pickup trucks? All right. The apartment's showing, but I also have preset days of when the apartments are going to show. It's showing this day, and that day. What works for you? This day works for me. All right. Then I'll put them into my little spreadsheet. They'll get the automatic text message. They'll have an agent meet them there at that time.
Okay.
And that's it. 45 to 60 seconds on the phone max.
Really? So you have set days that you're showing the property, and you'll condense the showings?
Yeah. So I'll do like open house style, usually like 5 to 6 when most people are off.
Okay.
And so they'll have an agent there already set. I'll set as many people as possible. I also hired an assistant now too.
Look at you, man.
Yeah, like I'm like legit taking this to the next level this go around. So like the assistant helps out too and books people, tells everybody where to be. So everything's kind of like a little systematic. But I've mastered 45, 60 seconds on the phone with a tenant. I just know whether you're going to see it or not.
Wow. That's cool. That makes sense.
Yeah, no small talk.
No, it makes sense. So on the tech side, what are you doing on the tech side? Because I think that's also a big thing. Follow up an organization is vital for any business. Most people suck at that. Especially real estate agents, they're not organized. So what are you using on the tech side to keep you organized, to keep you following up with these people, and to basically remove stuff off your plate? Because you're only one man.
Yeah. So when I talk to somebody over the phone, I have saved text. I have an Android, so if you have an iPhone, I don't know how it works, but I could save things to my clipboard. So if I call somebody or rentally and they don't answer, I just go to my clipboard, copy paste, and it sends them, hey, I got your message, your inquiry about 123 Main Street, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, rent, utilities included, whether it has washer, dryer. I put a link to it in it and my contact information info. Would you like to schedule a showing, or do you have general questions? And I usually do a lot of it over the text, just like that. Or even when I'm on the phone with somebody, when they call and it's about that, while I'm saying, hey, how you doing? I send the message to them. Click the link right there so you can see which link it is. All right. And then, so I have everything preset in my message already. I'll show you when we get off camera.
Okay. So that's how you run it.
Yeah. It's just 45, 60 seconds. We got to be off the phone.
How did you develop that process?
By wasting a lot of time with people. Just by wait. Like, I don't want to hear your sob story or anything. I don't think it's rude. I just think it's business. Let's get right to it. We can talk in person, but on the phone, let's get right to it.
No, it makes sense. That's really good advice. I'm gonna take a couple of pages out of your book and try to implement that, because we've been having a tough time. And better than anybody, being a landlord, you don't want people to move out, because when you move out, you have to fix stuff, you have to paint stuff, you got to get somebody back in. Even with the crazy demand for rentals in Long Island, it still takes time to get the right person.
Yeah.
So if you think, like, I'll talk to some property manager stuff, they're like, yeah, someone moves out one day, someone else is moving in the same day. I'm like, you're not getting a quality person that fast. It usually takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. See, I try to throw a clause in all the leases if they're cool with it, and depending on the person as well, that when you're moving out, that last 2 weeks, I can start to show people.
Yeah.
So I always like to throw that clause in there. Some people, I know they're kind of messy, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But that helps out a lot with me. But I usually have a lot of people who are really qualified in my phone at all times. So a lot of times I can't.
Oh, that's interesting. Suffolk County too, or just Nassau?
Mostly Nassau, and a lot in Queens, because most of the business I do is it's probably 50-50 Queens, Long Island.
What do you see as the biggest difference between Queens and Long Island?
You make more money in Queens.
Yeah?
You make way more money in Queens.
Is it harder in Queens?
It's harder in Queens to break through, but once you break through, it's actually easier.
Yeah?
Like, look, I live in Long Island. I love Long Island, but sellers in Long Island don't want to pay. Queens, they pay higher commissions.
Okay.
On the listing side.
Okay.
Buyer side, they pay less.
Interesting.
Well, are we allowed to say that anymore? No, don't come after me. But I make more money in Queens. I get better referrals in Queens. Long Island seems like everybody just wants, I obviously can't say set numbers, but everybody just wants, this is what I'm paying and that's it. And in Queens, I'm like, all right, well, I need this. And they're like, okay.
Do you do any business in Brooklyn?
I don't like Brooklyn real estate. I don't like Brooklyn real estate.
That's where I was, bro. I mean, so we're doing a ton of business now on Long Island. I was like, all right, man, we're going to crank this thing up and get super dialed in. I'm going to max it out on Long Island. And then we got the boroughs right there. And Queens, I'm like 50-50 on Queens. Because you know what? Like, I feel like as you go west, it gets wilder. Like, the fucking people just get wild.
Doggy dog for real.
Suffolk County, cool. You get into Nassau, people a little more aggro and pissed off. You get into Queens, and then you get into Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, it is just, they're just fucking savages. Like, everybody in Brooklyn is a savage. Everyone's fucking lying to you, trying to do some underhanded shit.
Knocking on the door.
Recording bogus deeds. You got investors pulling contracts out of their pockets on the street. Got velour jumpsuits with bags of cash. It's just, I was trying to figure out, like, is it just me and my experience, or is Brooklyn, Queens seems to be like a good medium. Like, you can do business like a gentleman in Queens and Long Island. Brooklyn
is crazy. My aunt has a house. I'm not gonna say the street, but all the houses on her block sold to this developer.
Okay.
So they actually built an apartment building around her house. She refused to sell. And the developer like started throwing bricks off the apartment building to go through her roof.
Holy shit.
Came down. Oh, I'm so sorry that this happened. I apologize. We'll fix it. But if it's easy, we could just buy the house from you, and so you don't have to worry about all these repairs. I'm like, take that mother effer to court and get him to fix everything, you know. So Brooklyn real estate, you know, people have knocked on the doors, you know, telling my sellers. I take listings out there all day, you know, but knocking on my sellers' doors. Hey, I have an appointment with Walter. You know, are you sure? I tell sellers, like, don't answer the door. If I don't say I'm coming, if I don't tell you somebody's coming, don't answer the door. I don't care what they say.
It's wild. But what about dealing with the sellers though? Like dealing with the buyers and sellers? Is it the same? You have the same problem? Because we're on the buying side, so we're dealing with the sellers, and it's like you can make a deal with somebody. Yep, we're good. Send the contracts. The next minute they're changing their mind. They're pulling some shit. There's somebody else. Like it never works out in Brooklyn for us.
There's a lot. I mean, you know, because Brooklyn is just so competitive. It's just too much people. Look, you make some really good money in Brooklyn
if you can do it. If you can get the deal.
If you can get the deal, you can make some really good money in Brooklyn. But it's a little bit too much for me. I really like Queens because I'm a Queens guy at heart. You know, Queens is like it's like a little bit mellow. You know, Queens get the money.
What are your areas in Queens that you like?
I tear up southeastern Queens. Like
southeastern Queens. What is that like?
Rosedale, Laurelton, Cambria Heights, Springfield Gardens, Jamaica. I tear those areas up. Like chew them up, spit them out. I get a ton of referrals there all the time. You know, I love that area. I love those areas. I can relate to the people real easily. We can crack jokes. You know, it's a lot of you know, blue or white collared area. You know, people they're down to earth. But then again, you know, I could go to Old Westbury, throw on a nice little, you know, clean it up real nice. So it doesn't matter to me. But Queens real estate for me, I don't know what it is. It's just like the energy out there just comes to me. I just get a ton of referrals out there.
Okay.
The past few years, I've sold more listings, not buyers, but more listings in Queens than I did in Long Island. But I get more buyers in Long Island.
So since you're predominantly seller heavy, you're like 65, 70% seller. What are the like who's selling? Like who are the people that are selling? Is it a specific situation? Are they going somewhere? Like what? Is there some kind of commonality or is it just super random?
I think it is super. I didn't think it is super random. I mean, most people who are selling are usually between like 40 and 60.
Okay.
You know, that kind of age range. But
why are they selling?
A lot of people are splitting up. I mean, a lot of people are splitting up for whatever the reason. And
that's interesting.
And babies. More space. Babies need room.
You're not getting a lot of people that are like, fuck New York, I'm out?
Oh, to the Carolinas, the Vegases. Yeah, I am getting those. I got a lot more of those in 20, 21, 22, 20, 21, and 22. I got a lot more of those. But a lot of people from Queens are moving to Long Island. And a lot of people from Long Island, I feel like are moving down south.
Yeah, it's interesting because, that's the migration pattern we're seeing. So we're doing a lot of new construction now. So the new construction is all people coming out of the boroughs, moving to Long Island.
I see that.
And they want these new houses.
That one you put up, that huge one was sick, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That was sick.
The new construction thing is a new animal. Just takes time. It's a lot of money. It's just, and then you hope that shit pays off in the end. And it's expensive. Like, again, I don't own a house that I live in. And I look at these people, I'm like, how the fuck are you going to buy a 1.5, 1.6, $1.8 million freaking house?
How much money are you putting down?
A bit like we just sold 2 in Bethpage, a little lower. So like 1.3, 1.35. Half or cash.
Oh, damn.
They're just rolling through with like 650, 1.3, whatever, like big fucking chunks of money. And I'm like, where is this money coming from?
That way it makes sense to me. If you're buying something 1.3 and you take out a mortgage $700 or so, you're paying probably $7,000 a month with that. I could get that.
Damn, that's still fucking crazy.
That's more than,
bro. It's over $100,000 a year pre-tax money. Like you got to be making real. For me, if you're gonna have a mortgage that's like that, you got to be making your house got to be making $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, and people are not. They're like making $200,000 a year and spending $100,000 on their house, which I don't know how they're doing it, but that shit makes me like, I don't really get anxiety, but if I was going to get anxiety, if I'm putting myself in that moment, that would like give it to me.
I can't do it. That's higher than like my mortgages, my car notes, my insurances, like all put together. I can't do that.
I feel like it's harder to get out of a marriage than it is to get out of a house that you can't afford.
Oh boy.
I mean, the flip side, it's harder to get out of the house you can't afford than a marriage. It's easier to get out of the marriage.
Yeah. Oh, it depends on who you are in a marriage, though.
I guess that's true.
You're the one giving or the one taking, you know.
So, to kind of round it up, you've been in the business for 13 years, and you know everyone's life, everyone's business, highs, lows. Sometimes you're super energized. You're like, I'm taking over. Sometimes like you got obligations, or you're like, I just need a break. But now it seems like the rocket ship's about to take off.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've been in the lab getting ready for a moment, and I feel like this is that moment. You're like about to take off if you're not already in flight.
Oh, so, yeah. I mean, it's really taking off. I wish I could say it. I just can't say it yet. I have approvals for everything, but I got some mega shit coming up right now. But I think the biggest thing for me, though, is with being so busy with constantly having to post and constantly having to work out and be there for my kids and all this other stuff. Like, I have to find that balance. And the balance I've really found, bro, honestly, is therapy.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, every week, besides 2 weeks, since September 2023, I've done therapy every week.
Okay.
And during that hour and change session once a week, I will not answer my phone for anybody. I go to therapy, whether it's in person or over the phone.
Okay.
And it's really, like, the best thing I've ever done.
What does it do for you? That's interesting.
It really helps me feel like I'm an overthinker.
Okay.
And I'm the kind of person where I'm a lot better now, but before I wasn't able to express myself and things would build up and I would explode.
Interesting.
So by me having that outlet, it's allowed me to be
keeps you more even keeled.
Yeah, and I'm a lot more of an efficient communicator. I can have tough conversations easier now. And just to be able to run things by somebody.
Okay.
And not be judged, and you know, I could ask for an opinion back. It's really like the best thing I've ever done. Like it's better than, besides my kids and God, it's probably like the best thing I've ever done.
What got you to that point?
Frustration, man. You know, that whole thing about like addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
You know, and just putting too much faith into people and being let down, and it really is like the best thing I've ever done, man. You know, I was in a really dark place right before that. And again, like you saw the difference of how I kind of like disappeared for a little bit. Still doing business, you know, still top producing, but it's just, I didn't feel like myself.
The energy wasn't there, man. The energy was off. The force was off.
Energy wasn't there. I was a lot heavier. Wasn't eating right. And just by me able to get my mental health in order, you know, it just really helped out everything in my life.
So what would you say to somebody who's maybe going through some shit right now and is on the fence about, you know, seeking professional help, going to therapy, whatever? What would you say to that person?
I would say that it'd be remiss of you to not do it. You know, you're doing yourself a disservice. You know, we work out and that's your physical. You pray, that's your spiritual. You eat right, that's your body, but your mental, if this ain't right, if this is all jacked up, I mean, look at the crazy, you know, God forbid, look at these school shooters, man. Their mental is messed up. Everything else, people look like normal people, but they can't see your mental. They can't see what's in here. And you got to get that right. If that's not right, then your whole life's going to be off balance, you know? And people noticed it where, same thing you said, like, you know, what's wrong with you, man? Like I'm like you, but it's not like something's a little off, and people were noticing it. And ever since I just started like reinvesting back into myself, the same way I reinvest into my business, you know, people see it now. It's like, yo, you're back to yourself, man. I like this. You know, they feel the energy coming off me. They feel that positive radiating off me.
Good for you, man. That's great. So final question. What's going to be different about this run, and what can we expect to see in like the next 12 to 24 months?
Oh, this go around, I know what to do. Like, I have the game plan. I got the blueprint. I have the credentials now. I have the confidence. I have the awards on my freaking wall now. Like, I'm undeniable now. Like, before, I would get nervous walking into a room. Now I can walk in there by myself. Now I can hold a conversation with anybody. It don't matter if you Joe Schmo or fucking freaking Buffett. You know, like
I'm selling your house.
Like we're gonna do a deal, and you're gonna remember who the hell I am. I promise you're gonna remember who I am.
My man, that's beautiful. So on that note, if there's anybody out there who's looking to buy or sell and want to be involved in the next run, and trust me, you're not going to want to miss out on this. That's your camera right there. How do they get in touch with you?
You can contact me on all social media platforms, but the main one is Mr. Real Estate Walt Greene. You could also put me in as Mr. Get It Done, Already Done, Hustle Don't Stop. I'm out here in these streets. Don't play with it.
Yes. I'm so happy. Woo! I'm so happy you did that. And obviously, if you have a house you want to sell, I want to buy it. It's that simple.
Cat P,
no cat P, land, whatever it is. If it's real estate, if God created it, I want to buy it. 516-777 sold. That's a wrap.